There are a lot of plot holes here, so I need to get something straight. How does my OC verse, as I've taken to calling it, work? Well, let's start with the basics. We start with Multiverse 1, Multiverse of Humans. Each world is different very, very slightly, or very, very greatly. Infinite world, infinite possibilities, infinite potential. This multiverse contains Earth 1. Everyone in Earth 1 is considered an origin, and whenever somebody comes up with a fictional concept, that fictional concept is conceptualized as a different multiverse or omniverse. So we have the overworld. Then we have the Nova Core, which houses a celestial named Nova. Nova guards the pathway between the overworld and the underworld, and only lets through those he considers worthy, which has a similar criteria to, like, MCU Mjolnir. In any case, on the other side of the Nova Core houses the underworld, which houses demons. Instead of being a bunch of organized multiverses, it's scattered amongst a bunch of planets which house different kinds of demons. Imps, serpents, balrogs, but these are not demons in the same sense as spiritual biblical demons. These are more offspring of demons capable of genuine thought and, in turn, genuine change, which is where good demons like Hellboy or Sparta come in. So we've got the overworld, we've got the underworld, and we've got the Nova Core. The constellation is the collection of everything we see. It is, by all metrics, infinite dimensions. But there's something outside infinite. For example, heaven. Heaven has 3 ranks: angels, archangels, and God himself, as well as past souls. This is the beyond dimension. Nobody can reach the beyond dimension under any circumstance. Fearmonger, Blacklight, heck, I would buckle down on the fact that Storm King can't cross this border either. It's not considered writing somebody else's OC if I set genuine boundaries for, not being sacrilegious. But then there's the negative plane. This is where hell is. Now, you might be wondering, why isn't the world in shambles if demons are negative creatures and thus have the same power level, or dare I say greater power, than the likes of Blacklight, who can just manipulate everything? Well, it all boils down to circumstances. Demons are sealed in hell. That's that. They can only leave in spiritual forms and cause problems with trickery and corruption. Problems that can be staved off with a pope or a cross or prayer. This is also where Satan resides, naturally. The ranks of demons are demons, 7 deadly sins, and Satan. And a lot like angels, you can't cross this border. Except, Blacklight did, so I guess you can. But Blacklight being a negative creature really is just opening doors to new bounds, because with his power level, he'd be considered really scrawny. The only reason he can do what he can do is because he's not, banished to hell. So, outside of the borders of the constellation, we've got the beyond plane and the negative plane. But where do the Celestials live? Well, Celestials still live within the borders of the constellation. Here's the gist. Planets and universes are 3rd dimension, multiverses are 4th dimension, omniverses are 5th dimension. Then once we breach the realm of Celestials, we have the 6th dimension. And then the realm of the Arch-Celestials, as I've taken to calling them, which houses places like the Nova Core and the Tree of Souls with, Bruno, the guy I mentioned in Fearmonger's video, are 7th dimensional, and then the realm of death or other places overseen by angels are the 8th dimension, which also supports the implication that Fearmonger has infinite strength relative to the 8th dimension. I don't really know where convexity lies in this. All I can say is it's not in the negative plane, and it's not in the beyond plane. I'll let Grimm be the judge of that. Now, Fearmonger's personal pocket dimension, Armageddon, lies on the 9th dimension, which is still fully under his control, but it's the first time where he can reach a plane of existence where he's not infinite. Still pretty jacked, but not infinite. It's also worth mentioning that Fearmonger is technically a being of infinite dimensions, so he can access pretty much every corner of the constellation. But he's only infinite relative to the 9th. He's only infinite relative to the 8th dimension. I'd venture to guess that convexity exists somewhere around the 9th dimension, because it was created in the same sense as Armageddon. Grim, if you're watching this, please kindly confirm this in the comments, or just give me a number. Give me a number. That's the number of dimension that convexity is. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. So that should be a pretty roundabout summary of pretty much everything. One more thing, fourth wall breaks are kind of already a thing in my OC verse. Origin is, by all metrics, us. We are the Origins because we created these OCs. And Fearmonger has canonically met his Origin and canonically fights alongside his Origin, along with everyone else that are just more self-insert OCs. So, yeah. If you're wondering, Origin has similar powers to Mr. Nobody, where he basically just writes the story, but characters like Fearmonger exceed those boundaries because he's a force of nature. So, one final thing, as a little unrelated side note, as exclusively a ploy to try and one-up Storm King, no real reason, I just figured it'd be funny, Fearmonger is starting to employ his own army. Right now, he's just got a bunch of characters that canonically died in the Elden Ring universe. Hey, Editor Slit Productions here. This information is actually really outdated. It's the Crimson Forge Legion. I made a community post about it, so check that out. Right now, the Hands of Death, as he's been taken to calling them, has Blide the Half-Wolf, Iron Fist Alexander, War Counselor E.G., Starscourge Radon, and Millennia Blade of Mikola, as well as, you know, Salmon V, but that kind of goes without saying. And I think that's everything I wanted to talk about today. I'll probably release more OC content in the future, considering it's what I want to make my entire channel off of. And, subscribe to Liam Vickers.